This here is my ACEMAGIC Tank 03. You can see that there. I got this on eBay for a very good price. It was actually, I can't even remember, I think it was like $600 or something like that. It was pretty good. It's not bare bones either. It came with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte storage. This model here has a 12700H, couple generations old CPU, but still adequate for what's paired in here. And this one here has an RTX 3070. It's a mobile chip, but RTX 3070 running at 100 watts, which is quite nice, honestly. I've seen these with RTX 4060s more frequently now, and I have actually seen them a couple times with the 3080, but I've never actually seen them in stock. These are something that you can still buy. I don't know how much they're still like making them and promoting them, like this brand here. Maybe they'll make a new one with some 5000 series, maybe. But these, I still see them all the time on places like eBay. So this is something you might want to consider if you're looking for a reasonably capable CPU, totally modern, no problems on it. And honestly, despite the fact that the GPU is a few generations old, it's still going to trade blows with something like an RTX 5050 or 5060 mobile without too much issue. So let's jump into this review here. I'm just going to basically test it, do some upgrades, show you guys how it performs. Not going to be a super complicated or long video, but this is something you might want to consider if you're looking for a cute little box like this that you can stick beside your monitor or whatever for some compute-based tasks, day-to-day computing. But of course, if you need something that maybe you can stick beside your TV or monitor as well, and just use it as a little gaming box, it's very compelling. So let's jump in. Okay, so here's a look at the device. Very cool. Let's zoom out slightly here. So on the front here, power button, we have a little bit of I/O and some power mode kind of stuff here. Show you that when we get to it. USB-A, USB-A, very good. USB-C power. Should be reasonable in terms of speed as well. We'll test. Never know what they actually get. Audio out. And then of course you do have SD card. This is good because you can plug things in while this is just kind of sitting off to the side. Very nice. Then on the left side, we have a little gate here. There it is. You go like that there and that'll open it up. We have a little gate here on the left side. We'll open that up in a minute. Same with on the right side here, little gate. We'll open that up in a minute. Very cool. On the back here, we have ventilation, kind of look like a Gundam kind of thing, a little exhaust. 4 more USB-A, so lots of ports on it. On the back, another audio out, very good. 2 LAN ports, so you have a redundancy. You plug 2 in, and if one goes, you have the other one. Display port and dual HDMI, very good. In terms of the display, of course, this does have Nvidia graphics, so that's nice to have that as well. On the bottom, just a little bit more ventilation. You can see it's got a big fan there to intake, exhaust out. So it should have lots of cooling. I mean, spoiler, I've already used the thing for quite a bit, on and off. On the top there, just a little bit more open there. Not like a huge vent or anything like that for out or in, but just generally pretty good there. So you get pretty good I/O on the back and the front there, considering it's mini. It's not the tiniest mini PC in the world. It's kind of like a, I wouldn't call it a, I guess it is still technically a mini, but it's not like a micro PC. Some PCs are, micro size, like very, very small. It's got a random box. It's like a micro PC size kind of thing there. So it's a little bit bigger than that, but it's certainly not massive. Like it's not remotely compared to a desktop or anything like that. That's pretty cool. Bring this over here and I'll just kind of show you, that's a Lenovo P3 Ultra. That's their smallest kind of workstation thing, and it's around the same size, different form factor, but around the same size as that. So that's looking pretty good. You get a lot of like rubbery pads on there, kind of a cool look to it overall. It's kind of cool looking. Honestly, I don't mind it at all. Take those off. There's that. There's that. So on the right, I guess that's the front there. So that's the left side. We have our RAM sticks. Take that out. Comes with that. I'm going to upgrade it right on the spot. So it comes with, I don't know what that is. Kimtigo. No idea. Okay, and there we are. So I put in 2 sticks of 32 gigabytes memory. Crucial. DDR5, not DDR4. 12th gen supports both DDR4, DDR5. Just be aware when you buy a system to check which one it takes. It comes with a Rason NVMe, which I've seen in kind of a lot of different little minis and things like that I bought. So it's not exactly a, I'd call it like no-name brand, but it's, it is an off-brand, but I've seen it in a lot of systems. So now one issue with this Ace here is that it does not take native Nvidia drivers. If you just download from the Nvidia app or you try to download them directly, 3070M, they won't work. They won't work at all, won't recognize them. So what you need to do is you actually need to come in here and you go to this Frankendriver website here. This guy maintains relatively recent drivers, to be honest. So here's the Frankendrivers here. So these are just from June. They're not really that old. I believe there was actually an Nvidia driver update like a day ago, maybe 2 days ago. It's 26th today. I think there was one on the 25th or the 24th. So we're definitely a few versions behind, but it should be just fine after the install. And there we go. Installed just fine. Brand new drivers. Come in here. We can go Device Manager. Come in here. Now it will show up as Franken driver. I have to install some of the other ones here. We'll go like that. Display. Now it says Frankenstein. Because it's just the weird version, whatever. So you'll see that if you go like that, it'll just pop in normal and it'll tell you the version. So it's working just fine. I'll just restart and maybe I'll test some stuff now. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is run a little bit of Cinebench, primarily just because I want to know how noisy this thing is going to get and what kind of throttling we could expect from the system, specifically under heavier load. And we'll also check the noise as well. So we'll come back here and we'll just give it a quick run. So some different modes here that they say on the front. There's a green mode. We'll go through them as we go and see if it makes any difference. Not exactly sure if they will. So that's the green mode there. Bring this into frame a little bit better. Watts, CPU package 42. So I'm with a 12700, I'm guessing that is actually working. It's very quiet. The system makes no noise when it's just idling. I can hear that there is a fan going, but it's probably barely spinning because it's basically the same as my noise floor. Okay, let's turn this here. Red mode, which I guess is performance. It actually didn't really increase the CPU package power. That's interesting. Very interesting. I guess it might be more of the GPU. We'll see. We'll see when we get like further in, but that might be a GPU setting there. We'll come over here. Yeah, that's blue. That should be the quietest. Not making a big difference. It must be based on the GPU because the actual wattage on the CPU doesn't change. The fans are finally going. Took forever, but they're finally going. It's incredibly quiet, as you can see there. Okay, let's jump into some game testing here. Just got past the intro part of Spiderman, or I'm getting past it. Turn it down. Let's actually mute it for a sec. I've been running, obviously, the intro for a couple minutes. We'll just show you guys how noisy this thing is. So we'll go like that there. It's really not that noisy. I mean, it's sitting directly beside me. It's not going to be as silent as, a big behemoth PC on the other side of the room, but considering it's sitting right in front of me, it's not bothering me. The sound is low pitch, and I mean, we're 45-ish dB. It's really not that bad in any way. And let's see what we have here in terms of performance. We're on not craziest settings or anything like that, but reasonable. So we're at 1440p high with just a little bit of scaling, balanced scaling, nothing crazy. Turn that back up now. Yeah, so I mean, you're getting a pretty decent, there's a couple lows dropping down. By the way, I turned off VSync just for, there was a drop there. Turned off VSync for a moment just to get the, make sure that I'm going over. This screen doesn't have G-Sync or anything, so it's not very good, obviously, for testing. So if you see tearing, it's just not really that relevant. But I mean, yeah, you're looking at pretty good performance here. You can see the GPU is a fairly high wattage offering of the 3070. We're getting up to around 100 watts. The CPU here, instead of mentioning that, I mean, we're only getting about 45 watts, but that doesn't matter. I mean, most of the time, you're going to be playing a lot of the time 1440p, some 1080p, but you're not going to be, heavily CPU bound here on a 3070. Okay, now here we are in Final Fantasy Rebirth. Now this game's pretty hard to run. It can be pretty brutal, but we'll come in here. We'll go like that. Graphics. So we're on that medium kind of mix there. And some DLSS. Like that. Let's see what we get here. Yeah, I mean, it's running pretty well. 100 watt, 3070 mobile. Lots of VRAM to spare. The CPU, this is not a super CPU bound game. It's much more GPU bound. and you're going to get good performance here. You might get some pop in here and there, but that's just game engine. But I mean, it's an easy above 60. You're looking at more like 70 or so. And this is a very, very hard area of the game to run. That's why I test here. You will get some, drops in things like battles and that, but overall this is running quite well. Basically 60 or above, more or less. Some of those dropping down, but overall quite good. So I mean, considering it's just a little all-in-one thing, and considering the price as well, I mean, you're going to be able to get away with a lot of 1440p gaming, depending on the settings, mixed settings, maybe a little scaling here and there. I mean, it is still just an 8GB GPU, and it's a few years old, obviously, but you're still going to get really good performance. 1080p, the thing's going to be a beast. It's just going to fly through 1080p gaming. 1440p gaming, it's going to do incredibly well. As long as you're willing to do things like, put medium type settings or a little bit of scaling, or if the games are like, not that old. Games are slightly older, maybe a couple of years old or something like that, rather than, kind of the most demanding titles out right now, it's going to be totally fine. The 3070 is definitely not a weak GPU. It's starting to show its age, but I mean, here's some 1080p, right? 90 or above, excellent performance. You can play with scaling, turn it down. There's lots of stuff you can do here, but if you want to do some 1080p gaming, this thing's going to sing, to be honest. You'll be able to just rip through 1080p gaming. And if you want to, I mean, it's going to perform somewhere around an RTX 5050 or 5060, somewhere in there, to be honest. Overall, quite good. I'm pretty happy with the performance here. I mean, it's not the highest wattage on the CPU, but it's able to supply the GPU what it needs. And that's, for most gaming, that's going to be adequate. Okay, and interestingly, I think that's probably that. I don't need to do a ton more. I mean, I don't need to do, it's not some brand new hardware that needs to be benchmarked extensively to see what it can do. We kind of know what a 3070 mobile can do. We do know what a 12700 can do. And that's pretty much what we're getting here. We're getting a 3070 mobile that runs quite well. We're also getting the 12700H, which runs just adequately, no problems whatsoever. Easy upgrades, it runs relatively quiet. I mean, if you're looking for a little box that you can do pretty decent gaming on it, I mean, this one is pretty compelling. I've seen them at pretty high prices on eBay, but I've also seen them at very low prices as well, like the one I got here. So this is something you might want to consider. I'm pretty impressed with it for the price. I mean, if it was $1,500 or something like that, I'd say, get something else. But for the price of what it is and how much I paid, and the fact that it's a nice little box you could use for day-to-day compute, but also you could, stick it beside your TV, under your TV, beside your monitor, and just as a pure gaming device, it's quite good.